I'm Christina Johnson, transformational nutrition coach and owner of Christina Johnson Wellness. And today we are talking about a really important topic, and that is inflammation. So inflammation is known to be one of the #1 causes behind most major diseases like heart disease, diabetes, even cancer and Alzheimer's. It also is directly linked to weight gain and obesity. And it really can cause you to just not feel good, to have aches and pains and puffiness and stiffness. And so today we're going to cover all things about inflammation, because what I've discovered is that there really are some pretty simple things that you can do to really dramatically lower how much inflammation is in your body so that you feel better, it's easier to lose weight, and you reduce your risk of future health issues. So today, what we're going to talk about is just kind of what inflammation is and 7 different things that might be causing you to have extra inflammation in your body. And then I'll look at some of the simple things that you can do to start lowering your inflammation today. And then at the end, if this is a topic that you are really interested in diving deeper in, I will tell you about a workshop that's free that I'm offering next week on Monday, April 13th. And in that workshop, I'll dive deeper into this topic, but focus more on what you can do specifically to really reduce inflammation and jumpstart weight loss this spring. So I'll tell you all about that at the end. But I want to say too, before I begin, that I really believe that one of the major reasons why most diets don't work for people, and there's a list, I'm always telling you reasons why diets don't usually work, because they don't. But I think one of the issues with a lot of diets is that they're so focused on cutting calories, but they're not really getting to the root of the issue, which in many cases is inflammation. And so you could be cutting calories, but if you're still eating foods that are inflammatory, it's going to be a struggle to get lasting results. And so that's one of the reasons why it's really helpful to start looking at different ways to approach getting healthy and losing weight other than traditional diets. So if this sounds like information that one of your friends or family members would be interested in, would you share this video with them so that we can kind of spread this information with more people? All right, so let's get started. And the first thing that I just want to share is that inflammation itself isn't all bad. I mean, inflammation is one of our body's natural responses as part of our defense system and supporting our immune system. Because what inflammation does is anytime that we have these foreign invaders coming into our body, the inflammation is there to look out for them and to destroy them, basically. So if we have things like viruses and bacteria and other infections, inflammation is there to help address those issues. And it also is part of things like speeding up the healing of wounds and cuts and things like that as well. So inflammation in itself is a natural body response that is great. We want it to be there. However, the problem is that, as Americans in our modern lifestyle, we are exposed to so many things that cause inflammation for many people every single day that our body just can't keep up. And so instead of just having a little bit of inflammation, on one day and then not having any more for a while, most of us are having inflammation every single day. And that chronic inflammation is what's really causing health issues and weight gain for a lot of people. So let's look at some of the issues with inflammation. So Dr. Mark Hyman, he's a functional medicine doctor, well-respected, the head of the Cleveland Clinic, I believe it is. And he said, a direct quote from him is that inflammation leads to every one of the major chronic diseases of aging: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, dementia, and more. It just accelerates the aging process and makes us more prone to those diseases. But it also contributes to obesity and causes things like aches and pains and stiffness and headaches and feeling tired. And so it really is a pretty big issue for us to address, because once we get to the root of inflammation and lower it, you will feel so much better. So let's look at 7 different things that tend to cause inflammation. So number 1 is just our diet. So things like sugar. Sugar is highly inflammatory, or just processed foods in general. There's also a lot of fats and oils that are inflammatory. So fats are good. We want good fats like olives and avocados and coconuts. but there's a lot of the processed fats that are refined and really tend to be inflammatory. Refined flours as well tend to be inflammatory. So a lot of what we eat every single day is a pro-inflammation diet. So that's one factor of inflammation. A second one is a big one, and that's hidden food sensitivities. So this is not like an allergy. So sometimes we get an allergy and that allergy causes an immediate response. But a food sensitivity is something that we eat that our body just doesn't digest or process well. And so as a result, if you keep eating that food you're sensitive to day after day, that's going to cause inflammation in your body. And that can cause it to be difficult to lose weight, or it can cause you to have aches and pains or headaches or a variety of issues. So hidden food sensitivities are actually a really big trigger for inflammation. And there's a lot of nutrition experts that believe that a lot of us, if not most people, have at least one food they're sensitive to. Mark Hyman, who I referenced before, he believes that 75% of Americans have some kind of sensitivity to dairy products. JJ Virgin, who's another nutrition expert, has said that over 80% of her clients feel better when they take gluten out of their diet. And then things like corn and soy are other common sources of sensitivities. So regularly eating a food that you're sensitive to without even realizing that you're sensitive to it is a big cause of inflammation. Okay, a third cause of inflammation is chronic stress. So just like inflammation, stress itself isn't necessarily a bad thing all the time. We are meant to be able to deal with a stressful situation, and we have a stress response that helps us deal with that. But most people are feeling this low level of stress every single day, and that leads to chronic inflammation as well. Number 4 would be a lack of exercise that can lead to more inflammation in the body. Number 5 would be hidden infections. So that could be any kind of virus or parasite, yeast, bacteria. These are things that, maybe you're not having any symptoms of them. They're in your body kind of dormant, and your body, the inflammation system and immune system is kind of suppressing them, but it is causing extra inflammation in your body. Number 6 would be toxins. So we are exposed to so many chemicals and pesticides and, artificial ingredients in our food, in our water, in the air we breathe, in our clothes. There's toxins everywhere. And so that can raise levels of inflammation. And then lastly would be like specific mold toxins or other allergens. So it could be environmental or just other things that provoke an allergic response that raises inflammation. So those are 7 common sources of inflammation. And as you can see, a lot of them are things that are probably happening on a daily basis, like sugar. If you're eating sugar on a daily basis, every day you're just fueling that fire. And that's what happens here with all these different sources of inflammation. It's like you're just pouring gasoline on the fire in your body. And when you continue to pour gasoline in, you eat sugar, you eat a food you're sensitive to, you use toxic cleaning products, then that just causes the levels of inflammation to rise in your body. So I'm not saying all this to scare you or to be all doom and gloom, because the truth is there is a lot we can do to reduce our levels of inflammation. And that's what I love to share with people. But we need to look at a couple things. So first of all, it's not about just using Band-Aid solutions. So let's say, for example, that you have inflammation in your body, and as a result, you have joint pain. You could take some Tylenol or ibuprofen to deal with the joint pain, but you're not getting to the reason why there's inflammation to begin with. On the other hand, if you think about, like, for example, I have a client who I worked with last fall. She did a 21-day detox with me. It's an anti-inflammatory diet. And she, before we did this, was having knee pain and having to take Tylenol every single day because of inflammation and the pain in her knee. So she realized that after she started doing an anti-inflammatory diet, I think it was in the 2nd week, she realized that she was no longer having to take Tylenol. She just hadn't taken any in a few days because the pain was going away. So when we're looking for solutions to inflammation, what we really want to be looking for is to figure out how do we actually get to the root of the issue and deal with the inflammation so that the symptoms, the pain, the weight gain, all of that goes away. And the other little caveat before I share with you my ideas on how to deal with this, is that it's easy to read about turmeric, for example, because it's anti-inflammatory. It's got lots of amazing properties in it that can help with inflammation. But we need to be careful not to fall in the trap of thinking, well, I'm just going to take this turmeric supplement and that's going to take care of everything, but I'm not going to change my lifestyle. Because what happens is, let's say you take turmeric, but you're still eating sugar and foods you're sensitive to and being exposed to toxins. You're still putting fuel on that fire every single day, so that one supplement may not be able to completely reduce inflammation. So that's why I really recommend taking kind of a two-tiered approach. So let's take a look at how you can actually start lowering your inflammation. And I promise you, I've seen people get rid of symptoms of inflammation really quickly, like in a week or 2 weeks. So the first part of the approach that I recommend is to look at reducing the foods that are inflammatory to your body. So that means cutting back or even avoiding those foods that are causing inflammation. So the processed foods, sugar, the refined fats and oils that are inflammatory, and just processed foods in general. So reducing that, it's going to stop pouring as much gasoline on that fire. And then also the other part of this is looking to see if you do have any food sensitivities that you don't know about. So if you are sensitive to something like dairy, you want to avoid eating that as much as possible so that you can lower levels of inflammation. So avoiding those foods that tend to be inflammatory is step one of lowering inflammation. And then step two would be to add in really good, healthy whole foods. These foods tend to be anti-inflammatory by nature. So eating vegetables and fruits and good fats like olive oil and avocados and, good quality protein. All of those foods have different vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that will help naturally reduce inflammation in your body. So the two-pronged approach is avoiding foods that cause inflammation and eating more foods that are anti-inflammatory. So you're eating those real whole foods. And then if you also want to supplement with some things that are known to be really anti-inflammatory like turmeric, then that's great. But it really has to be that two-piece approach to it. And then in addition to that, so I think starting with food is probably where most of my clients at least see the biggest, quickest results. So start there. And then also there's things you can do like just moving your body. It doesn't have to be super intense exercise, but moving your body is great. Doing things every day to manage your stress levels is really important too, whether that's doing some yoga or stretching, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's doing some deep breathing, but doing something every day that reduces stress levels will really help just overall levels of inflammation in your body. And then lastly, so once you have taken those first steps, maybe you're feeling great and amazing and you feel like you just want to continue doing that. Or maybe that took you about 80% of where you want to go, and then you realize, maybe there's something else going on, and then maybe you want to do some testing to see if there's, some mold you're being exposed to, or maybe a hidden infection or something going on in your body. But I think that really that can be kind of a secondary approach after you really start by building a healthy foundation with food and lifestyle choices, because those are so powerful and they make such a huge difference. Just as an example, I think about one of my clients who I worked with last fall, I think it was, and this is somebody different than I was mentioning before, but I did a Facebook Live interview with her. You can find it on my page, Darlene. But she was noticing some symptoms of inflammation, feeling tired, waking up with a lot of joint pain and stiffness. She, her skin just wasn't looking as youthful and glowing. And so she did an anti-inflammatory diet, and within 10 days, first of all, she was so excited to tell me that she had to call her doctor because she was on blood pressure medication, and her blood pressure was actually getting so low because of the foods and diet changes she was making that our doctor had to lower her medication. So there's things like that, that's a sign of a potential issue later on that she's in a more major health concern that she was able to make a really big positive impact in in just 10 days. But not only that, she said that she started waking up with a lot more energy, but not having that stiffness and those aches and pains in the morning. And she even mentioned, I remember that one of her coworkers said that her skin just looked better and I think just more youthful. And so it is amazing the power that just making simple food and lifestyle changes can have and really dramatically impact how you feel and lower those levels of inflammation. So what I recommend, just as a quick recap, is really to lower inflammation, we need to avoid the foods that are inflammatory and eat more foods that are anti-inflammatory. So eating those real healthy whole foods. So if this is a topic that you are interested in diving deeper into and really learning some more practical steps on what this would look like to implement, I would love to invite you to a free workshop I'm doing next week. It's on Monday, April 13th at 7. We are going to look at one of my absolute favorite ways to reduce inflammation pretty quickly in your body, and that is by doing a detox. So I know that not all detoxes are created equal. There's some out there that are pretty restrictive, where you're only drinking juice, or you're fasting, or you're taking lots of supplements. You have to be right next to the bathroom. And that's not necessary. You can do a really gentle detox where you're just eating an anti-inflammatory diet and avoiding those foods that are causing problems and figuring out what you're sensitive to. And that is really powerful at lowering inflammation in your body. So on this workshop, I'm going to show you the 5 steps to do a detox in a healthy way. And then we'll also look at, in addition to inflammation, a couple other underlying factors that tend to cause weight gain and just to make you not feel very good. So it's really going to be a great way to really understand what's going on for you and help you create a plan and figure out what specifically you can do to jumpstart weight loss this spring and to just feel better, have more energy, and reduce your risk of future health issues as well. So if you'd like to sign up for that workshop, you can do that at ChristinaJohnsonWellness.com/jumpstart. And I'll put that comment or that link in the comments under the video as soon as I'm done here, so you can just go and click on that. It'll take you to a page just to sign up with your name and email address, and then I will email you all the details of how to join us on the workshop. I'll remind you of the date and time and everything else you need. But I would love to have you join us for this workshop. I honestly love doing detoxes like this because they're just so powerful. People get such quick results and start feeling better so quickly that they're motivated to stick with it and to really figure out how do you create a new healthy lifestyle. So join me for that free workshop next week and we'll talk more about it. And if you have any questions before then, feel free to put them in the comments, and then I will see you again next week. Bye for now.